podcast, a BNR production.
I wanted to be a lawyer, a surgeon. I wanted to play basketball. There was no WNBA at a certain point, so I wanted to be the first girl in the NBA.
Yeah.
Loving basketball before loving basketball.
I'm very
And then like in college, I realized like I just wanted to be in sports in general, but like behind the scenes. Like it wasn't really all about being on the court.
Right. So
I don't know. When I was a kid, like I know I wanted to help people and I wanted to work with children. I wanted to be a pediatrician or a rapper. I know that's random. Like it was either or. It was either paths. Like,
she did say this last episode. She definitely did.
I did. It's like no funny for real. Like you could not have told me I have nothing but music on the computer. I'm talking about back in the day, the old school computers with the little gray mic that you had.
The big booty back computers.
Right? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I could have been a rapping doctor or whatever, however you want to do it.
Hey.
But do you feel like, your childhood ambitions, do you feel like you still navigate the same field? Or do you feel like since you got older and the world got real, the career goal shifted?
All of the above.
All of the above. The world got real quick for me. And yeah, I had to shift careers. Like I needed something that was going to get me in the elevated path real quick. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I think for me, I went from being like focused and fixated on sports to realizing that that's not the only way I could touch people. And I realized like my passion is helping people. It doesn't necessarily have to be through sports. So that's what I did realize though. Like the older I got, because it's like you could go to school for whatever you go to school for, but that doesn't necessarily mean you always gonna end up in that field. And so it's like you do have to find something else that brings you joy or makes you happy. And so since I ended up in the school system, that just like me seeing the impact I could have on kids was like, oh, I don't have to do this through sports. Like, yeah, I could do it through coaching, but I could also do it in the classroom too. So
I would have never thought that I would have touched a school building.
I
used to rip and run through schools. Nobody would believe this. Like, no, there's not a soul who would have thought that they would have saw me working with kids inside of the school setting. But I did find a passion for it in that aspect because for the longest, I knew that I wanted to work with children, but just in a different way. Right. So doing therapy with kids, I fucking love it. I'm not even going to hold I love working with families. Middle school kids are terrible, but
that's my favorite age range.
Mine's is like middle school
because they are terrible. I feel like I relate and I understand because I was way more terrible than y'all could possibly be. So I understand the little roughneck kids. They're my favorites. But what was so crazy? I think about growing up, like professionally, people told you that certain fields didn't make money. Like people used to clown educators and they used to clown so many different professions. And I was like, it's not so much what you hear, the initial, it's how you navigate the fields in a profession that gets you to the money. People aren't good negotiators.
That part.
That is definitely true. But it is a difference when it comes to like now, like us being our age and navigating our careers and things like that compared to when our parents were working.
Hell yeah.
So like, I mean, like all the way down to pay, down to pensions, benefits, like all of that, everything is different. Like nothing is the same. There is no staying at one job for 30 years. Like
that doesn't exist anymore at all. That's
not at all.
Because you're not gonna talk to me crazy. Gotta go.
My body, spirit, and soul. I can get a job. I am very marketable. I know how to I don't want to say sell myself, but when I go into a job, like y'all, I already know what I need to do for y'all. What y'all finna do for me? Like we're not playing that. Like what we gonna sit here and talk about is what are y'all gonna provide for me in order for me to do my job properly. And the compensation y'all offer, child, we going through the moon because when y'all see what I get up in here and do, y'all gonna be like, well, goddamn, she's worth it. But the moment y'all talk to me crazy, yes, can I put in my 2 week notice? Oh, well, what's wrong though? Because
Yep.
you thought you had the right one, and you thought you were gonna talk to me. However, I don't deal with that, and y'all don't pay me enough for that. And I didn't. Oh Lord, excuse me, y'all. And no, I didn't come out your vagina, and I ain't come from your sack. So no one's gonna talk to me crazy in here, and I'm out. Like I don't care. Like every job I leave gracefully. Like I just put in my 2-week notice, and I work my last 2 weeks. I fill up my PTO, and I'm out. Like, or I'll put in my 2 weeks and be like, yeah, y'all can put in my last 2 weeks to be all PTO. Holla, deuces, be on vacation. So I've always like heard stories about how they've dealt with like their coworkers and how people have spoken to them crazy, and I'm just like, but I know the real you, and I'm very proud of you for like handling that situation like that. Because if this was like my mom's, yeah, no, we wouldn't be where we are today, because she'd have been like drop kicked the hell out of somebody in that damn building. Like, because they really be talking to people crazy. Like, I don't want you to ever think there's a check in the world for you to disrespect me. I don't care. Like, I'm not doing it.
You know, I feel like my mother always told me this. There's a way to cuss people out without cursing them out.
Being nice, nasty.
Like when you know, like
do that on Saturday.
My emails give what they supposed to give.
Yep.
Again,
I will send you a real cute, nice, nasty email in a heartbeat.
Yep. And my man, I did one on Saturday, and my boss texted me. She was like, "Listen, when you come back to work, we will be having a meeting about that email." And I said, "What's the problem?" She's like, "No, I agree with your email." I was like, "Oh, okay."
They'd be like, "We got to talk about that email." Like, yes, I sent it. I hit sent. I put my read receipt on, so I knew when you read it too.
You hear me? Like, you're not doing it.
What you meant when you said the whole thing about pension, Shay, and I was like, the reality of it is it doesn't exist for people our age. Mm-hmm. And I'm really big, on telling people you're gonna have to create your own 401k, your own Roth IRA plan, your own retirement plan, and build it out, because nobody expects you to lead a game at 62 anymore. Like, the reality of it is you may be working till a damn near 80 years old, because we do have the benefit of, like I said, choosing the type of work that we want to be in. Because I'm not staying nowhere where I have job dissatisfaction. And the same thing, work-life balance is a real thing. Like, now every time I go out and I seek out a position, like you said, what are you doing for me? I have to feel like I'm not giving my all to this situation. I have other business endeavors. I got other dreams and other goals. If I feel like I'm spending majority of my time, my power, and my energy here, it's not worth it. Because like, time is valuable, and you spend more of your time at work most of the time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That you're doing your own house that you pay for.
Yeah, and I ain't feeling that. Now I ain't gonna hold you. Those 40 plus weeks, those checks be slap hitting, and you be like, damn, I definitely did just spend most of my life in this place, but that check is all right, cool, I could chill for a couple of weeks. But it's like, I'm not feeling that. Even with my current job, they do not play about overtime. They be like, yeah, no, you have to leave. Like, I don't care if it's you came in at 6, yeah, you already at like 7 hours in the overtime. So you
believe in being salaried and staying past 5 o'clock.
That's
all of. But you know what is crazy, because professionally, if an emergency occurs at my job, I'm licensed and I'm authorized where I have to stay there to see it through. So many situations I wasn't overtime eligible, but if there was a crisis that occurred at 5 o'clock, I'm sitting there till 8. All everybody would do is give me a smile. And I kind of don't like the theory of comp time. People be like, well, you could come 2 hours later because you stayed 2 hours late. Yeah. I'm tired. I don't want to be here at all. I worked a long day. I don't want to come in tomorrow at all. Like, y'all not going to see me. I'm going to bang it out. Like, I'm going to get sleep. But that's how it goes down. Do y'all know who invented the 40-hour work week?
A white man, I can say that.
It was a white man. Henry Ford. So Henry Ford,
he was doing too much.
Yeah, who asked him?
But that's because of the whole assembly line thing. And his whole idea was like, I can get people
not 1940
vehicles and all of this productivity or whatever the case is. And we stuck to it. Like, he became
that's what I'm saying. He dead and everything. Like, what? Believe in being salaried and staying past 5 o'clock.
That's
all of. But you know what is crazy? Because professionally, if an emergency occurs at my job, I'm licensed and I'm authorized where I have to stay there to see it through. So many situations I wasn't overtime eligible, but if there was a crisis that occurred at 5 o'clock, I'm sitting there till 8. All everybody would do is give me a smile. And I kind of don't like the theory of comp time. People be like, well, you could come 2 hours later because you stayed 2 hours late. Yeah. I'm tired. I don't want to be here at all. I worked a long day. I don't want to come in tomorrow at all. Like, y'all not going to see me. I'm going to bang it out. Like, I'm going to get sleep. But that's how it goes down. Do y'all know who invented the 40-hour work week?
A white man, I can say that.
It was a white man. Henry Ford. So Henry Ford,
he was doing too much.
Yeah, who asked him?
But that's because of the whole assembly line thing. And his whole idea was like, I can get
It's
people
not 1940
vehicles and all of this productivity or whatever the case is. And we stuck to it. Like he became
That's what I'm saying. He dead and everything. Like what?
She was like, once he got clipped, that whole policy should have went with it.
I'm just saying, like, what?
Yo, I'm almost done. This nigga was funny.
But I'm just saying, like, the assembly line is like,
yeah, they making the cars in motherfucking Japan now. What the fuck?
That's what
They
I'm saying. Like, this ain't the Motor City no more. Like, he's doing too much.
But y'all, I don't know if y'all heard this. So I was listening to the radio and they were talking about the Department of Education. And they were actually talking about Department of Education all over the U.S. And so many different counties are trying out 4-day school weeks, but they want to clip Monday from the school week. So people are like, what do the people with children do? Because they still got to go to work and then they're going to have to pay for childcare. But a lot of people said they can't find enough teachers to fill positions inside of the buildings. So they feel like to get more teachers to appeal to want to work inside of the schools, like if you make it down to 4 days and cut them hours, like,
let me tell you, you saying that, you just triggered something in me. the issue that I fucking have, why the hell are the people who are raising the world's future leaders, the world's future doctors, lawyers, whatever the hell these kids want to be, why is y'all paying them less than $50,000 a year? Like they paying, first off, they paying teachers out here in Maryland $42,000 a year. In DC, I think they paying like 52, 55. Maryland teachers is jumping ship and they are going to DC. My son's school is severely understaffed right now. And I'm in there trying to get me a job. I'm like, I got my degree. I could be a sub. Like, what's up? Like me and the kids, we gonna be in here kicking it. And I know that lady was like, hell no, I don't. Like I was looking real cool too, fresh off one too. Yeah, me and the kids, like I could definitely do like reading music. Like what's up? What you need?
They getting a little desperate out here, so I think they
are getting desperate.
Somebody happy. They don't care if it's the man on the street, the dusty street prophet.
Yeah, but it is so sad because why y'all paying teachers? Like y'all are paying teachers a salary. Y'all not giving them the tools and the resources that they need in order to be great teachers. Like they gotta buy all their own supplies. Like that shit is not fair. Like I feel like teachers, psychologists, anything in those fields where they're helping develop a nation, y'all definitely need like 60, 70 plus a year. Like that's ridiculous that they paying people that much. Like now I ain't gonna hold you. My mama was getting paid, but she's in the administration. If you an administrator, like that's lit. Like you definitely gonna be good. But the teachers who do the actual work are not getting paid enough.
You know, so I'm an administrator and I say more money, more problems. I really honestly say this. Running the school system is a very different game than it was years ago. And I've navigated from the hospitals into the school system, back to the hospitals, into the school system, and then a combination of both of those things at the same time. And the reality of it is that in America, we do not get paid our worth unless we bargain for it. And that's just the reality. So anybody who comes in and they feel like they're desperate, never go and look for a job when your back is against the wall. If your back is against the wall, you're going to take things that you're not really interested in taking. You're going to take pay just to take it. So you got to go in a space where if you're looking for new employment, actually have a job that you're working, because you're in a space to say like, I don't need this, but I want to elevate. I want to elevate. I'm in a better space to negotiate. A lot of people tend to go and seek new work after they've already left a space. And that's when they're like at a crunch time because the bill's going to come regardless. At the first and the last of the month, it's still going to be here. And something's still going to have to get paid. So I feel like the way that I always navigated the game is that I come in with my terms and conditions off rip. When they tell you during an interview, what questions do you have for us? Have hella questions. So many people try to be too coy, especially like I said, for us as a people of color, we try to just accept some of the offers that are being presented and put on the table. And I'm very much against that. We now have a place in this world where we can navigate any way that we choose to and set the terms.
Right, because when I got my job, I've been at my job about 6 months now, and I was straight up like, yo, what resources do y'all have for me? Like, what are y'all offering me? Because with the original pay that y'all offer me, that's cool. But like, no, I'm not taking that. I'm taking this. And they was looking at me like I was wild. I said, yo, I'm going to put the work in. Like, I already know. And they've been satisfied ever since I've been there.
I think that's what bureaucracy exists in every job. Like, you're always going to have times where you feeling like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to deal with this bullshit. But like I said, I do kind of rank everything on the scale. What can I tolerate versus what's a deal breaker for me? And right. So if you're hitting my deal breakers, I'm not with it. I have a really big one. And we were having this conversation recently me and Shay, and I was saying to her, like, yo, I have to have my own office everywhere I go. For the last decade, I've had my own office. If you can't my own office, you do not have me. You will not see this face at all.
That's valid, because I definitely got to have. I share an office with like all the managers, and I'll be like, "It's funky in here. I don't like this. Like, y'all niggas is annoying." I'm used to having my own office. That's the thing too. Like, every position I've had as a manager, I've always had my own office. So now I'm like sharing the space with all these other managers, and I'm just like, I don't even have my own cubicle. Like, this is weird. I'm not feeling.
No, I gotta be able. There's a time that I may want to pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, girl, hey," and say, "Hey, quit." And I want to do that without somebody glaring at me from the other side. So that's it. No, I want to be able to close.
Oh, I still be in there talking my shit. Y'all go and hear my conversation. I don't give a fuck. Mind your business, bitch. Go outside. Like, I was in here first. Ain't nobody in here. I'm talking about shit. Like, nobody was in here when I came in here. Don't come in here upset because I'm on the phone. Like,
having your own office is cool, but for me, my deal breaker is like, bro, I do not like being micromanaged. If you gonna micromanage me, you can stay home. I'm not staying home. You stay home, and let's try this again tomorrow. Because I'm not like, first of all, I don't need to be micromanaged.
100.
So go find somebody else to be a little puppeteer and to make you feel better about your job, but it's not happening over here. So for me, like, micromanaging is the quickest way for me to be out of there. Like, got to go. One of us got to go. So
true, but true. Like I say this, there's something to learn from everybody. So I feel like if you're giving me really good advice on how to navigate something at work, I'm interested in listening to it. But like you said, if you're sitting on my back, that shit don't work for me, because I've always been very independent. And I feel like that's what you got to yield to, positions that allow you to have the freedom to do it the way you need to do it. I'm innovative and I like to create. So if you telling me how something should go, I was like, no, I'm gonna show you out. Like, it's not a game. I have to do it my way, and trust me, it's going to get done regardless, but I have to do it to my comfort. Like,
and I work with somebody that micromanaged me like every day. Like, I'm sitting at the computer, like, I don't know if I can move left, right. Like, I'm
totally laughing because I remember, like,
because sis was on my back, like.
And that's so corny because it's like, I feel like people who micromanage you are the people who are afraid, like, they're afraid of you because it's like, oh, like, you're gonna do my job better than me and you're gonna be taking my position and things like that. And it's like, child, please, like, I'm trying to do my job and get my check and leave fuck home and plan my vacations, okay? Like, I don't know why you feel like I'm trying to come for your role. I'm not. Like, we work here together. I'm very big on teamwork because I work with a cluster of people, and it's like, yo, we all got the same common goal. Let's get this money. So let's get this money. Let's keep these numbers up. Let's keep people happy. Like, that's the goal ultimately. So let's be a team. My deal breaker is dealing with people who don't understand teamwork, or people who want to not march to the beat of their own drum, but they're so enthusiastic and getting to the next position that they're doing a lot of dick sucking, and it's not helping nobody. Like, you're actually making it worse for everybody. All this dick sucking you're doing, like, you're making us have to do more work because you're sucking so much dick. Like,
nobody getting no work done because they're not getting no work done. I got to do extra work because they had everybody neck. And so I think having like a peaceful coexistence, I really love the idea that they've been doing with a lot of positions where people work from home. Like, literally, like we could be cool over this computer, but then when I turn this shit off, like, I kind of operate in my own space. Like, the work remotely, like, I haven't been blessed to do it often, but when I've gotten the opportunity to, I fell in love. What about y'all?
I did it for a little while, and I was cooking breakfast while I'm meeting. Like, it. I mean, I like it, but at the same time, I also, like, as much as I like to be alone, and I'm not really fond of people. It is nice to, like, get out of your house though. Like, so I mean, I get the whole, like, me, I could go for a hybrid schedule. But, like, to fully be remote, I want to have the option. Like, I don't want to feel like I got to stay in my house. Like, I also don't want to feel like I have to stay in my office either. So, like, I at least want the option so I can go back and forth. But the remote does allow you to do more stuff, especially if you have your own businesses and things like that. Like, you can channel your energy into multiple things compared to when you're at work and you can't really do that. But
Is that what
I don't
you're
know.
supposed to be doing?
I mean, shit,
if I'm
bitch.
in
I
my
would
house,
be,
they don't
yeah,
pay
listen,
no
if I could work from
bills.
home on a little customer service
Say
line,
it.
I would be sitting here doing somebody's nails while I'm talking to customer service. Like, girl, listen, I got 2 jobs. Excuse me. Yeah, so Mr. Greg, how you need me to help you with your phone bill? Like, if I could, I would. Trust me, you. Like, and that's my side hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But if you don't do no work at work, why would you do any at home? Like, what is the difference? Like, you supposed to be doing what you do at work, and so there's some people who go to work and they don't do anything. So
it's harder to track those people down too. So I said one thing: if you're working remotely, I don't got time to chase after you because like, you don't got time with the computer, phone alerts, everything. Then I got to drive to your house and knock on your door and be like, "Hey, your papers is late, so my papers is late, and I got time for this."
Yo,
right. But then it's also the people that work from home and you on Zoom meetings and they want you to say hi to their dog and their baby and all of that. Like, I don't have time for that.
The
Let
dog
me tell you something.
blows me. The dog blows the fuck out of me. I could give 0 fucks about little Fluffy, Skippy, any of that shit that comes on the camera. And people it'd be a whole conversation. Like everybody be like, "Oh my god, how old is he? What kind of breed is he?" Like I don't care about any of that stuff. Like I'm like fast forward, mute. Like come on.
Camera off, like come on, bitch. I hate the put your camera on. No, I'm not putting my camera on because I do not want you to see my face when I'm talking shit about that goddamn dog that I don't want to see. Like, come on, like all that.
I had a whole head wrap. I had wrapped it up with the African garbs, and I was like, "Look, I'm straight from the motherland. Look, like I'm here. This is what y'all wanted. This is what you required."
Yeah, I used to one of the jobs I worked at. We used to have a 4-day, we had so many transitions during the school year. So it used to be like Monday through Thursday we worked and then Fridays we was off and it would be a remote day. And so some days that was just code for
I'm going to Walmart in the morning.
Yeah. So but other days like we really did have like, professional development and stuff like that. And they literally, that was in the email, like your camera has to be on. And so like everybody would just take turns turning their camera off and then turning it back on. Like it was like a thing, like texting each other, like, all right, I'm about to turn mine off. So you got to turn yours back on. Like, cause they would call you out and tell you like, oh, so-and-so, your camera's off. I know it's off. Like,
I'll be like, yo, I'm on my phone, bro. My Wi-Fi jacked up. So
and that's what a lot of people used to be doing other stuff. So they used to be on the highway and all types of stuff. and they think they in their house. So it's like, so it's like, I don't know. But working remote,
I know some work
because we know we could do it.
I know some work from home jobs, they had a system to where like if you was not in front of your computer screen, it would send like an alert to your boss, like, oh, this person's not crazy. This person is not on screen. They're not working. Their screen is idle. Yeah, no.
I've done like a whole office corporate meeting in an Uber, and I was just like, "So look, Bill, like I understand what we have to do today. Like what? Like I was in route. I had some place to be. So at the end of the day, I feel like as long as the job gets done, and that's what I'm really big on. I don't really care about how you go about completing the task, as long as what I'm supposed to do for my job is done at the end of the day. We said this before. In other countries, they celebrate siestas, right? They get a break middle of the day during the work day. They get to go home, eat, go to the gym, sleep, have a little romp in the hat, whatever they got to do. They have fun. And then they come back and their productivity is even higher because they got a chance to take a break. Only here in America do we work like slaves.
30-minute breaks, hour breaks. What the fuck is that?
They got us working out here is pretty close. We like indentured servants. I'll say that.
Right.
So they run in a rat race. And I feel like nowadays you can't just have one job. You have to work almost 80 hours a week, or you have to work at least 2 different jobs or have 2 different hustles just to be able to survive in this world. And that's very different than what our parents were able to do to support families.
Right. Yeah, but that's also because they don't pay you anything. Like if one job, and even if they are paying you, they could pay you $50,000, but you don't have there's no life insurance. There's no, there's nothing that comes with it. So it's kind of like sometimes you do need something else just because you got to make 8 times the rent to live somewhere. But it's like the pay is definitely not the same. And so
that is no benefit.
And even though you can make more than your parents did, it's also like our parents were Like back then you were taught you're supposed to stay in this job for 25, 30 years. You're working towards your pension. You're working towards retirement. Like that was a goal. Like there was a start goal and there was an end goal. But for us, there's no end goal. The end goal is to own your own business. And because like there is no retirement for us. Like there's no pension. There's no, like, unless you work in the school system or you have a city job, there's no guaranteed anything for you.
No.
I mean, and it's crazy because even at my job, this lady's been working at my job for like 26 years. She's like 63. They will not let her fucking retire. She's like, yo, I'm tired of this. She's like, I don't want to do this no more. She's like, they're trying to make me work 5 days. She's like, I work 4 days a week. I'm not coming in more. I'm not doing no more, no less. Like, she's like, don't get fucking stuck here. Every time she see me, she be like, do not get stuck here.
Nobody has that conversation, especially with young people, explaining to them, like, you don't have to sit in the same position, especially if you feel like it's not yielding any benefits. Right. Supposed to get me to sign up for this. And she was like, nah, because she said, I don't want to sell you a false dream. Like, of course, retirement systems and pension systems are a form of social welfare that people don't realize. And when it was created, it was a part of like the whole New Deal contract. I'm not going to get into the whole history, y'all. But it was created basically as a way for people to, you know, get older and to collect. But nobody knew if that was going to be in existence when we got to that age. So there's no guarantee that that money is still going to be waiting for you. That can that can like literally like time itself out. And then when we get to the age of 62 to collect Social Security, they could be like, whoopsie, people live so long years before you, they already collected on that money and there's nothing to give you at the end.
Yeah, like I'm paying into this shit and y'all telling me when I hit the age, I ain't gonna have no bread. Like when I heard that, I was like, nah, son, how do I stop paying into this? Because that's not right. This country, ooh, child.
I mean, or you can work that long and still not, you can retire and still not get your money. Like, as in you got to wait a year, or you can only get a certain amount after a certain amount of days, or, you know, like.
People only retire making 50% of their the income that they ended at. Mm-hmm. The average position. You don't retire and see all of the money that you made on the job. You make a percentage.
Yeah.
And nobody wages like cost of living increases either. Like right now, the average person who's making, let's say, minimum wage is making like in New York, $20-something an hour, right? And that would look really good to people. People was like, oh shit, they getting $20 an hour. I'm about to go.
Not living in no New York City.
People was ready to go down to the Burger King. But you know, not for real rap, there was a lot of people who were super hype and they was ready to sit up there, flipping them patties, doing whatever they got to do to get the 20 until they realized cost of living expenses. Gas, ridiculous. Groceries, ridiculous. Rent is too damn high. That's what they always say. The rent is too damn high. So at the end,
it's crazy because going to the grocery store is the same as going to eat out. Like I'll be like, I'm not eating out, and I'll be like, bitch, you want to spend the same amount of money anyway. If you can get 2 meals at the grocery store or 1 meal at the spot and get that shit quicker, like which one you want to do? I go to Long John Silver's and spend less money there than I am at the grocery store. Like this shit is fucking
Negro. I am Long John Silver's. I'll be in here making everything they make these restaurants.
I'm just saying, if I want a fish taco, I gotta go buy some fish. Do you know a pound of fish is like $15? Like a pound of fish, and then they only give you like 3-4 pieces. What the fuck?
I make my own Chick-fil-A. I make my own cheddar biscuits. I julienne my own fries. Okay.
No, I cook all my own shit, but it's just I'm just saying, like, because every time I eat out, I be like, bitch, you could have made this yourself. Like, come on, son. Like this fucking turkey crab burger shit, you could have made this in the crib yourself. I do, but like you like to go out and indulge from time to time. But it's like, you know, like those nights when it's like you working, you hustling, and it's like, yo, fuck it, I know I got a kid, so I gotta feed somebody regardless. So it's like, damn, let me just go grab something real quick. And it's like, bro, I could go to the supermarket and spend less, but then you get everything at the supermarket. You like, bro, I could have spent less at Burger King real quick. Like, God.
The whole goal is, right? So basically you work all day, you're exhausted, right? So when you're exhausted, you make bad choices when it comes time to picking a meal to eat or when it's time to cook, right? Or when it's time to pick up food outside in the streets. They do that for a reason. If they don't really want you to make it to 62. They don't really want you to make it to retirement age to collect that money. They're hoping that you have a heart attack and drop dead for all that hard work that you've done all during the week. So the reality of it is, that's why I say, like, society is not built in a way for us to live a healthy, happy, resourcewful life.
Right.
So we're starting to be, as millennials, we're starting to play the game for real. Like, we bought into the concept initially. We realized that we were hoodwinked and bamboozled. Now we're coming with a different approach and a game plan. I know a lot of older people are like, y'all millennials don't want to work. I don't know if y'all ever heard that, but I've heard that from older people. They're like, y'all just don't want to be at work. Bullshit. That's not the case.
Like, we so rebellious,
undervalued, and
I mean, I don't want to be at work, but at the same time,
down and upset.
I want to be treated with respect, and I want people to understand my value, my work, and the hustle that I put into doing this shit. Like, it's not this. What I do is not something I learned overnight. This is years of experience, and y'all gonna treat me as such. So y'all not gonna play me. You feel me? Like, that's just what it is. Like, don't sleep on my skills. But it's not that we don't want to work, but that we just got a lot of self-respect for ourselves. That's really what it is. Like,
and now everybody's a hater. So it's like the issue really is, it's harder to work your way up because there's somebody always trying to tear you down. And so it's like, it's a thing of, you're not going to talk to me crazy, but it's also a thing of, like how we said earlier, if I just start a position, it's no reason why you feel like I'm here to take your job. Like, you that insecure? Because if you're doing yours and you've been there for however long and all of that, like, how is little old me, like, what threat in mind? Is now, like, to me, when our parents were working, like, supervisors and things like that were a certain age. They were mainly older people. But now you could be any age. They could be younger than us, our age. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, everything is more so of, nobody's gonna say like, oh, like, work on your strengths, or like pinpoint your strengths and be like, move you in this direction, or, like, guide you to where you should go, or find out what you like to do, and this, that, and the third.
I will say the company that I work for, they are very big on helping you create a career path. Like, there's a lot of people who've been at my job for like 13, 14 years, and I'm like, damn, you love it here. And it's like, I mean, I do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they do help create a career path, but it's like, you've been here 13 years, but you only at this level. Why are you not exceeding to the next level? And niggas be like, yo, because once you get to that level, it be a gang of bullshit
that you have to invest in yourself. Like you said, to be almost an expert.
Right.
To get any level of money, you have to hone your skills. Yep. And you got to continue to certify yourself and find new avenues and continue to build. You know how many people I've spoken to who are like, I don't ever want to be within management. I don't ever want to supervise. I don't ever want to climb that ladder because I don't want the responsibility.
I love being a manager. What? That's like one of the
things. If you never choose to grow in that direction, I understand, because it does come with a lot of responsibility. But if you don't choose it, you're never going to improve your situation financially. So it's a catch-22. I can stay where I'm at and not grow, but I'm not one to be complacent. So it's like, you got to know who you are. If you're good with your situation and you can maintain your funds for years to come, even with the cost of inflation, cool, by all means. But the reality of it is, everybody got to take the path to upward mobility at some point.
What you said?
I had an employer say this to me before. She said she found that young Black people who've attended HBCUs come into the workplace with a level of confidence, unbeknownst to people who've had experiences through TWIs. And I was taken aback when I first heard that, because I was like, it's somebody who didn't quite look like us who made the statement. But I kind of sat with that. And I do feel like we are 3 people who attended HBCUs. And I do feel like we're kind of molded in a way where confidence is key. They taught us how to navigate not only within our communities, but in communities outside of communities of color. And so I feel like when I do go into interviews, I don't just go in there as a person who's Black and intelligent. I'm just an intelligent person, period, who has all the skills and all the tools to navigate this situation, to handle business. And I show up authentically. And so when she said that, I kind of sat with it for a while. And now I kind of carry it everywhere I go, too, because I'm like, maybe it is true. Maybe through experiencing that level of education and that community and being loved on during that time period has allowed me to move in a way that continues to steer my career.
That's valid. I agree with that.
But I also think is exactly what you just said, like being authentically you. Because because to me, the haters are trying to be somebody that they're not, and that's the problem.
Right.
Like, if you would just be yourself, you might get far in life. But don't be mad at me because people like me for me. So I think that's the problem, is like people are coming to work trying to be somebody else, and it's just not working for them.
Right. I'm fresh off of one every time I come to work, and I be chilling. I just be the same OG. Like y'all gonna get the same person y'all get in work
Right,
outside of work.
genuine.
Like, because this was stressful. But now, I'm cool, bro. I got a kid. I can't even work late because he got activities in the evening. Like, and that's like you said, you got to pick the career that's for you. I was working one job where the hours was just not doing it. I was missing out on all his activities, and I had to leave. It was like, yo, I just got to find me a job with better hours. I work at 6 a.m. I'm home by 3 o'clock. I can get this kid from school. I could do this. I could do that. Like, it works for me. So everyone levels of like time frame at work is very much different. But I mean, I get that. Like, if you're an evening person, you need to sleep all day and then go to work. You got that energy. That makes sense.
I honestly felt like I was healthier. I would get off around like midnight, whatever the case is. Come in. I would eat dinner like on the job, and that's the real. Right. That's the only part that was good, bad because it was costly. But I would grab me a little salad or bring my dinner to work. Come home, go to sleep, wake up early in the morning. I could take a doctor's appointment. I could go hit the gym. And that was probably one of the best things that I loved about working. Even get up there before all of the gym heads is taking over the place.
That's true, yeah. Because my gym be packed by the time I get off work.
Like, I used to swim before going to work. Like, I remember my coworkers being like, well, why are you so relaxed? I was like, I literally go swimming every day before I come in here for the shift. And it made me feel so good. Like, it provided a stability to my workflow. So like you said, you got to do things in terms of like, if you like going out after work and that's something that gets you excited and gets you boosted, you got to choose a job. Like you said, I'm out by 3, I'm in happy hour by 5, I'm in by 10, and I'm up.
I got to deal with those customer issues. And I think that might be the only thing for me where I'm like, but when I get that cash and money, I be like, yeah, this is a better way than wait for my paycheck. I'm just saying, like, so I think I'm 50-50 on it. Like, I could, like, that's why I do both, because it's like I enjoy the entrepreneurship, but sometimes I'd be like, oh.
I mean, it takes money to make money.
The way that I look at it is I split down my current wage in terms of hours, right? So I always say, like, how much money am I going to make from a job in an hour? How much they taking off the top? How much money do I stand to make on my own when I go out and do a venture? And that's in terms of goods and services. We all have clients or customers in some capacity. And when you market yourself the right way, you stand to make a certain type of money from that experience. And then I don't have to yield as much time. Everything that you do in terms of your own business, you got to put a lot of effort into. I tell people all the time, business that you're going to create that you really don't have to invest your time and you don't got to make sure that it goes right because it's a representation of you. We are not just our businesses, but we're also brands now. And a part of that is making sure that all of those things coincide smoothly. And the way I feel like I like to navigate it is if I'm here for you for 8 hours and I'm only getting this, but I know that if I work for myself independently for 4 hours, I can make this much. I can make buku on top. Yeah, I'm gonna go bust with this entrepreneurship because I assume all of the risk. I'm my own HR. I'm the CEO, CFO of everything that I'm doing. The COO. I'm everybody in this company. So guess what? All of that salary go to me. When my if my business makes 6 figures, I make 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? If my business makes $250,000, I make $250,000. And that's just how you got to look at it. And it's a stepping stone. Every business, the first year out or the first couple of years out may not overturn the same type of profit, but it's still, numbers still go back to you. The money's still yours. So whatever I put into it and invest, I have the chance of taking the overturn and what's going to come back.
And it's like everything has its up and downs, but it's like you can at least, like, for example, with a job, you can't change necessarily everything you don't like. But with your own business, like, you can navigate it the way you want to navigate it. You know, like, you might know what's going to make something better at a job, but they're not going to listen to you. They're not willing to hear out your idea. Or if they do, they act like it was theirs.
Right.
So with your own business, you can, like, you get the benefit of saying, I did that. Like, this is mine. I own this. I worked hard for this. And to see it actually grow, because you know how it started, but to see, like, building it over the years, over the months, and just seeing, like, the growth in it is it's a good feeling compared to working at a job. And like you said, some people in the same position for 20-something years and they don't get that opportunity to grow.
Right. It's the intellectual property. I like having that ownership over my thoughts and how I navigate things. I feel like so many people can steal from you in the work environment. And you can put out good concepts and ideas, and this big business, they hear a good idea and they hear a big pitch. There's been plenty of times I've sat in corporations where I was like, didn't I say that? Wasn't that something that I had mentioned a few weeks ago? And like I said, if it helps the business, cool. If it helps make us all better, I don't mind. But at the end of the day, that concept that I put out there, if it made your company millions of dollars because of what I said, and you profit off of that, and I ain't see a penny in my check because of what I contributed, then I feel some type of way, because I could have stepped and I could have did this on my own and I could have created this. I went to a business conference. The woman's name is Erica Jordan, and it was called 7-Figure Educators. And she was basically teaching women how to make 7 figures, not 6 figures, y'all, but 7 figures through the education system, and how to establish their businesses. And she was like basically working in North Carolina as a school principal. She didn't yield to make a lot of money at the time. And she was taking money out of her own pockets to help the kids and to help the educators and to make sure that everything that was in the building that needed to be there was there. And then she got the idea one day that says, I'm an expert at what I do, and only I can do it this way. So I'm going to take my area of expertise and I'm going to create a business based off of that expertise. And now I'm going to sell my services. And when she went and sold her services, because we don't talk about this often, you can contract, you can sign deals that will blow things out the water. Like I said, when an actor goes for a film, they're signing a contract that says, hey, you got $150,000 for this movie. You can do that in real life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can sell, whether you're selling T-shirts and incense, you market them the right way, you could get them everywhere that you need them to go. It's like, and so that's how I look at it. I was like, I've never been one to think small when it comes to areas of business, because there's always a way to grow and to monetize things. There's always different forms to make additional income and money. And to be a young professional, we all realize this, when we work hard, and as we spoke about it, we're all people who we like to hit that pinnacle. We like to climb the ladder. And as we climb the ladder, you make more money, you start getting hit in the wallet. You start getting hit in the wallet ridiculously. Business owners, for the longest time in this country, anybody who's a captain of industry has benefited from having their own, their own thing.
It's like, what do? You got to do it yourself. DIY it, okay? So for all y'all out there listening, do it yourself. Whatever you're an expert at, it don't matter if someone out there someone else had something similar. You got to do it your own way. You go ahead and you pursue that dream, because trust me,
there's enough money to be made.
Yes, you put up a great point. And I was going to ask y'all how y'all felt about that. I hear that negative shit all the time from people. Like, aren't too many people doing the same thing? And I'm like, it's crazy. You could have the same business, but nobody's going to swag it out just like you. Right. Nobody's going to give that same type of quality or effort or pizzazz that you put on your business the way that you're going to do it. So it's enough for everybody to eat. But that's what tears a lot of people down. That whole crabs in a barrel mentality, where people feel like, oh, I can't create this because somebody got something like this. When you go into a supermarket, there's multiple brands of cereal, right? At the end of the day, everybody chooses the one that's right for them. Same thing when you go into the beauty supply store. I was like, I can get this shampoo and conditioner like I get that shampoo and conditioner. Sis may like this for her curl pattern, and this sis may like that for her texture. You know what I'm saying? There's multiple people creating the same thing, but they have a uniqueness to how it's being marketed, how it's being sold, and who it's for, essentially. And I feel like that's what we got to start remembering when we have, people have a lot of animosity or concerns about creating something and feeling that they're not going to get their credit for it because too many people are doing it. And you can't think like that. That's thinking small.
Right.
I mean, and now it's easier because there's social media. So it's like, it's easier to get your everything out there. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be word of mouth or business cards or flyers and stuff like how it used to be, or like for us being from New York, stapling your flyer to the, the power line and all of that. Like, so it's like, it's easier because there's social media. Like, there's multiple platforms. Like, pick one and do your thing.
Right. Because I'm in the hair industry. It's $1 billion business. There's a bunch of bitches out here who's doing hair and they're not licensed. I am licensed for those who are looking. But I'm just saying, like, one of mine is like, there's a hair, like, your hair gets washed in your service. Like, so many stylists are not washing hair now. I'm like, yo, like, big fine print. Like I include a shampoo in all services. You do not have to pay to get your hair washed. And people love that. You're like, oh, bitch, you want to wash your hair?
Yes. Growing up, that was one of my favorite things about going into the hair salon is that it was a full service salon. Like you was up there in the scalp, you was kneading up in there. You know what I'm saying? You was
shout out to Ronnie for getting these good lots. Ooh, boy.
And now, but you know what? It's so crazy because I feel like now I don't trust people to do that because, like you said, I have to know that you're licensed. And one thing I'm happy to say this for anybody who's watching us and who listens to this, we are all licensed within our professions and our craft because you do have to dedicate yourself to that. I don't have nothing against people who make it and get it out the mud without having a license, but I think that there is something that certifies you in your craft, that you dedicated time and energy to perfecting it and making sure that you're certified and that you ain't getting sued out here in these streets. There's some legal protection around what you're doing because you know what you're supposed to be doing.
I got out of the part of physically doing the services and teaching people about their like skin, their hair and things like that, because I'm like, yo, it's so many people out here who's unlicensed. They're making it hard for the licensed people to actually keep a clientele, go in the salon, do their work, whatever. All right, fuck it. I'm gonna flip it to the education side of it. Let me teach you how to do your own hair. Let me tell you about it. I can look at your hair and tell you what you need to know. Like, what's up? Like, let's get it. You feel me? And I think that for me, that was my form of helping people because people are like fucking astonished, like, damn, you know a lot about hair care. Yeah, if I can't get in the salon to do it, I'm at least teach you how to do it at home because that YouTube shit plus all these hoes that's not licensed, they're really making it tough for the people who spent bread to go to school to actually learn this. So this is my way of like feeling like, all right, cool, I spent all this money to get this license and now I'm in a field where I can at least teach people how to do it themselves and really maintain it. You feel me? So like that is, I'm in a totally different area now, but I'm back to doing hair, y'all. So I'll let you go. just saying, throwing it out there. You feel me? But
nah, for real, I like 100. That's what's up because you do have so many people, and like I said, we're all saturated in different areas of the market, and that's cool because everybody got to eat, and everybody's going to learn their skill. You can now get on YouTube and teach yourself some of everything. You can get on YouTube, eHab, whatever you want to get on to learn. You can learn it.
Yeah, and there's no reason not to know how to do anything.
Not to know. I said there's a million books. Consider myself a finance expert, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm learning. I'm reading books. I'm watching Susie Orman. I'm getting up here. I'm listening to the Budgetnista, and I'm learning a lot about how money really works. And not to have like what a lot of people do is they have fear around conversations about money, because like money insecurity is a real thing, and like money mismanagement is a real thing. And not knowing how like a dollar moves. So I always say that to people. I had to educate myself in those areas. Do I have a degree in finance? No. Can I make myself my own version of an expert? Yes, with extensive skill. But I would never take away from anybody who's learned the game and certified themselves with those level of skills.
I agree. I definitely agree because I have knowledge in all areas, but it's people who actually, I respect all people who have went to school, spent the time to like actually like learn and perfect their craft, put their own spin on it, get the certification, because all of that stuff costs money and costs time. Like you got to respect the people who's doing it. Now, am I going to call on them every time I need to do something? No, because I can do it myself. But I respect those because they might have taught me a little something, especially like in the lash industry. Somebody taught me how to do lashes, bitch. I will never go to a lash tech again. Like I respect those who are licensed to like do whatever they need to do or like went to school and get that education in order to be an expert in their field. Like you have to give respect to those people. For those who don't, I mean, again, like sometimes maybe the people who are like the experts, they pay, they might have a little course that you can pay for. Some people can't afford that. I'm gonna go learn how to do it myself then. Thank you very much. Like YouTube University.
How confident are y'all in charging people? One of the things that I had guilt with, I feel like, especially within our community, because like I said, I provide therapy to women and children. And I always felt like when it's time to pitch my services, whether I'm doing a conference or whether I'm working with clients, I was always apprehensive about what I charge people, especially within our community of color. And I'm always just like, oh my God, like I want it to be affordable. At the same time, I can't undervalue myself. And that was something that I feel like a lot of people are struggling with is when it's time to set a price. I hear a lot of hairstylists say, yo, if I tell you that it's $300 to do these braids because I spent 10 hours on my feet braiding your shit down to your ankles, I need you to understand that's the price.
And that's even a steal for $300, honestly. You know, like, bitch, who's doing that? Put me on.
That's what I'm saying. I've seen barbers who are charging now like $300 for their services, and there's dudes who are like, yo, I used to get the little cut from Uncle Joe in the back of the shop for $20, and now you want me to line me up with the little extra baby oil that you putting on top, and they upset because they don't want to spend the money. But that's the reality of it is, especially when we're spending money within our community, pay people what they are worth. They're not setting those prices just to sit there and screw you out of your bread. Is that the reality of it is, you'll step into another person's place of business. You'll go into Macy's or Nordstrom's and spend thousands of dollars for something that you didn't see how it was manufactured. But if your friend is selling the same bag of the same quality and they put effort into it, you be like, girl, I gotta give you $50 for that.
Yeah, like, bitch, you just went and dropped $100 on a bag out of Nordstrom.
People want freebies. Like, people want freebies, and people don't. Like, specifically us Black people always want a discount, a deal, like, oh, you my friend, oh, you still gonna buy this hoodie, and you still, you know, like, and I feel like that's, you know, like, that's part of the issue, but it's like, respect my business and respect my prices. Like, it is what it is. It's one thing if I'm charging you something and I'm not good at it.
Right.
But if I'm good at what I'm doing, give me my money. Stop playing with me. Or you can go somewhere else and get it for cheaper, but it won't be the same quality. So it's like, you got to pick and choose.
I also don't like when we tear each other down in certain aspects too. Like, I've seen people plenty of times on Yelp reviews and different things for newly established businesses. Specifically, like, I had went to a restaurant that was like the first Black-owned restaurant of its kind located in the area near us, right? So, and people were blasting the restaurant. Oh, the service took too long. This wasn't great. I'm like, they just opened. They just opened like 2 days ago. Restaurant businesses can overturn and shut their doors very quickly if people don't come in and start to patronize. And I'm very FUBU. I patronize Black businesses too, like an all-time high. I really love it because, like I said, I want to see us win. And I understand that some of the courts, I see the face, Maddie.
Oh, no, dog. Oh, no.
I gotta understand, we have a long way to go in terms of like the commerce part of business, because we haven't been allowed the same vending processes or a lot of the same connections that a lot of other people who've had long money have gone to establish. The way that Donald Trump would start a business would be a lot different than how we would operate a business, coming up with the funds, like I said, just being blessed enough to have the money to do it. So people who have thousands and thousands of millions of dollars to establish a company, yeah, it's going to look totally different than me and my whole family grounding up all of our coin together and putting our everything into this spot where I got to have every cousin, uncle, and auntie in this restaurant working just to make this business go, opposed to hiring a fully fledged team of employees. It's very different. It's going to look different. It's going to feel different until we get where we need to be. And then I can franchise and spread out. So I do give grace. I don't tolerate bullshit, because whack service is whack service. So if you got to be at least hospitable. You got to at least give good energy and make up for where the areas that you lack. But at the end of the day, I am going to give support.
Yeah, my thing is, when it comes to Black restaurants, y'all motherfuckers be lacking consistency, because there's no reason why I'm coming here every week and the food is always tasting different. Like, I'm not with that. Like, and it don't be tasting better. It be tasting way worse. Like, what the hell is the problem? Or like, your menu is wild limited. Like, I came one day, you got 76 items, and now you telling me you ain't got no salmon, and all I can get is some chicken fries. Like, come on, like, that don't even make sense. Like,
is that not a learning curve though? When you first open up a business, you may say like, I got crab legs galore. Then the price of crab legs go up and you're a new business, right? So then you out here, you're like, damn, I don't know if I can do crab legs, but I can do some crab sticks. And then you got
I've been in business like 5-7 years now. So I'm like, damn, like, y'all should know the game at least. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, shit. Like, I've been fucking with this company since they was a food truck. Now they got a whole restaurant in DC. And I'm like, yo, y'all niggas is not consistent. Like, this shit don't even taste like it was when you first started. Like, is the chef even cooking? No, he don't cook no more. Well, what am I coming here for?
When I was in college, we used to look out the window during class. There was a truck that was ran by ex-cons, and they used to make like the bomb ass crab. Yes, I said just like that. It was a truck of ex-cons and they was chefing that shit down, banana pudding, crab cake slapped to the moon and back. The food used to be busting. And the whole thing I felt about it is sometimes you got to keep your business small and really cultivate it before you expand too fast.
Right.
I was like, the minute these ex-cons get a restaurant, people gonna be digging in shit to their past and shit. People be looking into all types of stuff. I just wanted the banana pudding that was on the truck that was right next to the class. I could dip. I could lead out of biology. I could dip past the psychology build. I could go get my food and come back into the class. So that worked for me. But that's what I think that happens with a lot of corporations. It's like, I don't think that greed should supersede the economics. At the same time, when people say, oh, your business idea is so good, you should have a chain. We all learn this. When you have more than one of something, something suffers, and the food or whatever it is, or the quality of the merch may not be the same, or the people that you have working there may not be the same at every business. I love the fact that I love the girl who created Slutty Vegan. I forget her name. Anybody will add her name in there. I love the restaurant. I was patronizing it since the jump. I checked it out in Atlanta. I've checked it out in Harlem. I've checked it out in Brooklyn. And now she's opening one in Baltimore. And I'm so excited about that. And so I'm like, you know, I watched this girl almost be like the vegan version of McDonald's. And the food cost, like I said, it's not relatively low. You got to pay to be green. I just tell people that all of the time. Healthy food costs money. But I love the expansion, and I think it took her time. She had the food trucks in Atlanta. The business was good. Like, I went out to Atlanta, and I probably waited an hour and a half just to get that food. I remember Shay telling me, she was like, bitch, please, I'm not going out there. I'm not doing that with you. I'm not staying on that line.
And she always want to do it in the summertime. She don't want to do it in the winter.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I remember a few trips. I'm like, bitch, I ain't waiting no
It was hot boots out there. They was shaking and twerking and popping online. I was dying in the sun. It was hot out there. But I was so interested, just like being somebody who subscribed to that lifestyle, especially during that time. I was so like, it was celebratory for me to see this young Black woman who created this business. And so I said, wherever she at, I'm gonna pull up. If I'm in that city and it exists there, I'm gonna check it out. But I also was able to do a comparison. Is the one in Atlanta quite like the one that was in Harlem or in Brooklyn? Not quite. I felt like there was some minor inconsistencies. Is it still good overall? Yeah, but you got to work to keep it that way, because she's not going to be at all of those locations every day. She's not going to be overseeing. It's not the same cooks at that spot. Like,
yeah, but don't let the majority of your menu be one item and then you out of that item. Like, that's just like, I get it. I get it. It's never going to always be the same. But if you're a seafood based restaurant, how the fuck you don't have salmon and like 95% of your dishes is salmon? So you literally telling me I can get crab fries and some chicken wings on brunch?
I feel like shut down for the day. I realize people don't want to lose business.
It's stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, you should have done like a like, you should have shut down for the day, or you should have got on the Instagram, because I always check, like, any restaurant I go to, I always check their Instagram and it's like, see what's going on if they're having an event or if there's a special or something. He could have put on the Instagram very early in the morning, like, listen, y'all know we seafood based. We ran out of salmon. We'll see y'all niggas on Wednesday. Like, he could have kept it cute. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't have to open. Like, that's whack. We come in here to drink, but we ain't got no food. Like, I don't want no fries, bro. I want my salmon with the omelet. Like,
but that's what clothing stores too. If I go into a clothing store that I really like or whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, they got all of the items. They usually have my size. I be telling people all of the time, especially because I'm a thick bitch. I be telling people every day. I don't know what hoes is in, but they taking up all the clothes.
No,
so
honestly,
I go into certain locations and I'll be like, I gotta go where the people look like this. They gotta be super small, because that way I have more clothes left in my section. But if I go to where all of the people are patronizing, they ain't gonna have nothing left for me. And then I'm mad at the whole franchise. I'm like, damn, every time I come into this location, they don't got shit that I can wear. But if I go over here to the other side of town and I go into this store, I'm finding all the trends, all the threads, and all the vibes. Right. So it goes without saying that it's not going to be the same everywhere you go. There's always going to be somebody who rocks with it, and there's always going to be somebody who doesn't. But I still feel like you got to try it out regardless. I'm not going to not support us. I'm not going to not support us. Any day of the week, I'm going to give you a chance. That doesn't mean you're going to consistently get my money. If I go someplace and it sucks and I'm not with this shit, I ain't never going back. That's it. You got me once, but you got the bread. Consider it a charitable donation. That's cool. What would you say to somebody who's a millennial in the workforce? Like, what's your word of advice?
Sis, stick that shit out and just start your own. Like, if you are good at painting toenails, bitch, go paint them toenails and work your job until you can just paint toenails all your life. Like, I don't know. You got to do it yourself. DIY it. Because the jobs is no stability. Is not nothing long term. Unless you're like in the engineering role or the education role, you're really not guaranteed to have anything past 10 years. So do it yourself.
I'm going to tell you, first and foremost, navigate the business by like always negotiating your worth. Know how much it's supposed to be getting paid and add tax, like they say. Always add tax.
Should have worn my shirt.
Honestly, play the game. Don't let it play you. That's all I got to say.
All right, Diamond.
On that part, it's your girl D Rose, aka Miss Well and Woke.
Yes, and it's your girl, Miss Money Monroe. Okay.
I'm Money Making Shay from around the way. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Uptown Made podcast. We'll see y'all next time.
Deuces.